Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy B3, and we're back with another kicking graphic novel review. Last time we did some kaiju stuff, so I'm thinking, hey, today we should do more ancient heroes, huh? And how about some Western ancient heroes like Radiant Black? So today we're looking at Radiant Black Volume 1, Not So Secret Origin. But I think they're just calling it Radiant Black Volume 1 now, because it used to say Not So Secret Origin, and I think newer ones maybe just say Volume 1. It doesn't super matter. It's the only Radiant Black Volume 1, so you don't need an extra subtitle to identify it. But yeah, this is the book that Scott Snyder, writer of Witches and Justice League, both of which I have reviewed, said Radiant Black is too much fun, classic superhero greatness remade brightly and brilliantly for a new generation. And he's right. It's really fun. It's a rated T for teen book from Image Comics, and I'm going to read you the back of it. Nathan Burnett has just turned 30, and things aren't great. He's working and failing at 2 jobs. His credit card debt, it's piling up, and his only move is moving back home with his parents. But when Nathan discovers and unlocks the ethereal cosmic radiant, he's given the power to radically change his fortunes. There's just one problem. The powers don't belong to him, and the cosmic beings who created them want them back, by any means necessary. For fans of Invincible and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comes a brand new series from acclaimed writer Kyle Higgins, who worked on Ultraman and Cowl, and artist Marcelo Costa that reinvents superheroes for a new generation. And this reinvention is based on Japanese tokusatsu. Specifically, this is the Massive Versus Super Sentai. If you don't know what the Massive Verse is, it's this Image Comics universe that is based on Japanese Henshin heroes. Ta-da! Very cool. So, Radiant Black was their first one, and all the others kind of spun out of that. Plus they have crossovers called Supermassive, which are just big one-shots where the characters meet, which is awesome, because you can just buy one comic and get the full crossover. It's awesome. Really, truly, it is. We have reviewed a Massive Verse book before. We reviewed Radiant Sun Volume 1. And in that review, I said I reviewed Radiant Black Volume 1, and I could have sworn I had. Could have sworn I'd already reviewed Radiant Black Volume 1, but I went back and looked, and I hadn't. So I reread it and everything. Now we're going into it. But yes, the art is Invincible art. And it's really good. I have reviewed all of Invincible on this channel. Not all of the Invincible universe, but all of Invincible itself. But, anyway, our protagonist and his best friend from high school, or best friend growing up, really, is also back. His name is Marshall. And he's kind of a larger-than-life personality, but he does have a lot of insecurities inside. He isn't really the kind of guy that likes himself. So when his friend discovers the Radiant, you know, he's trying to help him out with it, but he's being antagonistic towards these cops. And a train is going to hit them. And Radiant Black lifts the train with these kind of telekinetic powers that he has. And Radiant Black, the thing about him is he's technically blue, but it's like a really dark blue. Like the energy he uses is blue. So he's technically the Blue Ranger, but he's the Black Ranger. And God, he's so cool. I've heard word of people working on action figures of it. I know Timbri 3D was maybe in talks to do action figures, and we just need Massive Verse figures, okay? They would go so perfectly in my collection. We also get an introduction to Radiant Red, who is robbing a bank and whatnot. Nathan is trying to find good work, but he finds out that being a Lyft driver, it's not called Lyft in the comic, kind of helps him hear about things that he can help out with as Radiant Black, kind of like Clark Kent working at a newspaper, so he can learn about disasters as they happen, you know? Pretty cool. The cops agree to keep his secret as long as he helps out and whatnot, and they kind of get something from it too, in addition to that. Radiant Red's powers aren't the same as Radiant Black, because Radiant Black can, like, fly and manipulate gravity is basically Radiant Black's power. Radiant Red can absorb things to create armor and make themselves stronger. But, yeah, Radiant Red is committing crimes. Black fights them and whatnot. And then we see... sorry, excuse me, I'm very gunky today. Nathan trying to write his book. And Marshall trying to help with Radiant Black. He makes Radiant Black like a social media page. We also get to see a cool power-up form. You know, those ancient heroes like their power-up forms. And Radiant Black's has a very cool cape. You got to love the cape. We also see him help out in what many would consider mundane ways. Like he tries to help change a tire, fails, and then he just flies their car to where they need to go. Just, you know, nice little helpful things. And he meets this robot inside him, and there's a lot of mystery building up to what these powers are. But then, Radiant Red attacks, and they just kind of want to intimidate Radiant Black. They don't want to actually really hurt him. But the building they're fighting in comes down, and Radiant Black kind of sacrifices himself to save people. Nathan effectively dies, and the powers go to Marshall. Now he's bonded with the Radiant for life. Uh-oh. And Marshall, he's a pretty good friend. He stays with Nathan every day in the hospital while he's in a coma. But he's not a super great superhero. He tracks down Radiant Red to get revenge, and Red feels pretty bad about it. And we eventually find out that Radiant Red is a lady. And there's part of me that's just like, can we retire this twist now? Is it even a twist? Finding out that a character that we thought was a dude is a lady? Is that a twist? I mean, future books will elaborate more on this, because as I said, she absorbs things to create armor. So when she absorbed him, she intentionally kind of created padding on her suit to make her look like a buff, muscular man as an effort to hide her identity because she was stealing money. So I guess that makes it kind of excusable. She was intentionally pretending to be a man to hide her secret identity. But still, it's an incredibly weak twist. It's not interesting or good. It doesn't change anything either. Whether she's a guy or a gal, she still did the same exact things. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter to Radiant Black either. He finds out she's a lady, and he's still equally determined to take her down. But then this other guy shows up. He's like glitching out in a weird way. He kind of looks like a ninja-y version of a Radiant. And he fights them. And we find out in this backstory comic that Radiant Red is a teacher and also trying to further her education via like grad school and whatnot. But her fiancé, they're having some troubles because he's a gambling addict. And it's not the most legal gambling. So when she forms with the Radiant, after he spent all their life savings, everything she had for school as well, they're going to lose their house. He might even lose his life. She gets this power, and she tries to get some legitimate loans, but she can't. So she robs banks. So it's slightly sympathetic, but it still is wrong at the end of the day. Really what she should do is dump him. Like, I know he's an addict and stuff, but girl, don't let yourself be homeless over this dude. Especially since he, you know, forged your signature and stole all your money. But yeah, this comic has a different artist. It's a different art style. And it looks good, except for the hands. People's hands are so weird in it. They're like gigantic bulbous hands. And I don't like how the hands look in that Radiant Red issue. But it does have a variant cover gallery in the back, and they're all really cool. They're really cool variant covers. The Massive Verse as a whole has some insane variants. But yeah, that is Radiant Black, Volume 1. And it even has this little alien language guide in the back so that you can translate little alien words in the book. But I prefer not to, because as you're reading it, some of the alien words become transferred as the Radiant becomes better integrated with its host. Some of them are also just curses. But they do have the little alien language guide in the back, like, Aragon and some fantasy books all had and stuff. If you do want to translate it. But I like the mystery of it, because some things will be revealed if you do that. But yeah, Radiant Black Volume 1 is a very good book. I had a couple little complaints about it, but all in all, very enjoyable. So that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I do plan on doing every Massive Verse trade. All of Radiant Black, Rogue Sun, the other Radiant miniseries, like Radiant Red and Radiant Pink. There's also the Supermassive books, Inferno Girl Red. Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on there. So, that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.